Hello and welcome to this episode, and in this episode we have yet another exercise for you. The name for this exercise is multiples, or to find multiples. So I would like you to write a program that reads two integers and determines if the first integer is a multiple of the second integer. So you get two integers and you find out if the first integer is a multiple of the second integer. For example, if I provide these two numbers, 25 is the first number and 5 is the second number. So you have to find out if 25 is actually a multiple of 5. So what does it mean to be a multiple of 5? That means that if this 25 is divided by 5, so if we divide this 25 by 5, the remainder that we will have in here will be 0. That is exactly the meaning of a multiple. So based on this explanation, go on and try to solve this problem using the C programming language, and try to solve it on your own first. Then later on, come back to this video and see the solution from this video. Welcome back, and now we can start writing the code for the exercise that we discussed about. So the first thing that we want to do is obviously to get the numbers from the user. So we are going to have a print statement for the user to enter two numbers. The user will then enter these two numbers. Then we can take these two numbers into these two variables, num1 and also num2, right? So we can take it into these two numbers, num1 and num2, and then we can use the scanf function to take in these two numbers. Now it's time to write the main logic of this program. We can write the main logic of this program using the if statement. And the if statement, we say that if num1 that was provided by the user is divisible, or basically if it's divided by num2, and the result of this division yields a remainder of 0, that means that this num1 is divisible by 2, or this num1 is a multiple of this num2. So then we can say that num1 is divisible by num1 is a multiple of num2, right? This we can write. And the second condition that we want to check, what if num1 is not divisible by num2? That we have to check with another if statement. If num1 is divided by num2 and the remainder doesn't yield a 0, then we can say that num1 is not a multiple of num2. And that's it. This is the logic of our program. Now let's go to my computer and we can start coding. Now let's go and start coding. Hash include stdio.h, our header, then our main function, and then we will have our message for the user, printf, enter two numbers. Maybe we can tell them to separate it by space. Let's go and define two variables, and num1 and then int num2, and then scanf, read these two integers and put them into these two variables. And now the main part of the logic of our program, if num1 is divided by num2 and the remainder is equal to 0, then we say that printf num1 is a multiple of num2. instead of num2, maybe I can put the conversion specifier, and instead of these conversion specifiers, we can provide these num1 and num2 variables so that our message looks more professional. And if maybe what I can do is that copy this whole if statement, paste it in here, and then if num1 is divided by num2 and the result of the division does not yield a 0, that means this number 1 is not, so we can put a not a multiple of num2. And that's it. This is our code. Now let's go and run this program. And let's provide these two numbers, maybe 50 is the first number and 7 is the second number. So what do you think? Is 50 a multiple of 7? No, it is not, because 7 by 7 is 49. 7 by 8 is 56. So 50 is not really a multiple of 7. And our program didn't give us you can see that our program failed, and we know this because we get this return value from the main function with this a very strange number. It's supposed to be 0 if it runs properly, but no. So maybe we have made a mistake. Once again, we have made a mistake of not putting address operator in here. Let's go and run. Now 50 and 7, and you can see that 50 is not a multiple of 7. And that's it for this episode. See you in the coming episodes.